Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. She did a video earlier today, and I think she broke her voice. So you're stuck with me for the next couple of videos. We're going to talk more about Gavin Newsom, Hollywood, and this plan to save Hollywood. It's not going to go the way that he thinks, I think. Apparently, there's a lot of skepticism in Sacramento. That would be the capital of California, that he's going to be able to pull this off, this $750 million tax credit to try to keep Hollywood in California. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about younger people being squeezed out of Hollywood and what I think might actually be behind that. I don't think it's just the economics. I think that younger people are being squeezed out of Hollywood because Hollywood has listened to younger people for the last 10 years and they've lost them a lot of money. So I think they're holding on to the old guard as long as they possibly can, trying to course correct. And we're kind of seeing that real time right now. And I guess we're going to talk about Paramount. While we're talking about Hollywood, right? I don't think this warrants its own video, but we'll talk about the accusations that they are union busting at Paramount. And Paramount, I don't even know what's left of it now. They're selling the Skydance. I don't know. It's a mess, guys. It is a mess. Hollywood is an absolute fucking disaster. And a fucking disaster of a state. It's in a state of disaster. There we go. Hollywood is in a state of disaster. Literally. The state being California. We're going to talk about this again. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfish-.com, join the Reef. You get exclusive podcast content and other content that you don't get anywhere else. We're going to be ramping that up here. This is coming from The Wrap. Governor Newsom's plan to double California production incentives faces Sacramento skeptics and ticking clock for Hollywood. So this is State Senator Anthony Portatino and Assemblyman Rick Zieber will have the job of ushering the $750 million package through 6 months of budget talks. What happened to survive until 25? Because we're talking like May of next year. Maybe. Governor Gavin Newsom told Hollywood entertainment workers on Sunday that help is on the way as he threw his support behind more than doubling California's production tax incentive to cap to $750 million in next year's budget. But a long road lies ahead for that boost to become reality, and the earliest that film and TV productions will know if they can even receive additional funding will be 8 months from now, when the state budget is finalized and approved by Newsom in the legislature in June. So yes, by summer, you will know if help is on the way. And by the time you have to fill out the paperwork and all that jazz, in a couple of years, you might feel it. Who knows? Between now and then, the hard talks about what the expanded incentive program entails will take place in Sacramento, where not everyone sees the entertainment industry as such a priority for California. Let me highlight this. In Sacramento, which is in Northern California, they do not see the entertainment industry as such a major priority for the state. Basically, it's a Southern California thing. Yes, it brings a lot of jobs to Southern California. Yeah, there is a little bit of trickle down or trickle up effect from that. But like Northern California and Southern California are very different places, and they have very different economies. And I don't think they care. I mean, Northern California, we've got San Francisco, we got San Jose, we got Silicon Valley, right? And the tech companies are already kind of taking over the entertainment space anyway. So they're like, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We don't really need Hollywood, do we? Moreover, lawmakers will have to consider what specifically is eligible for the tax credits, all while other locations continue to siphon production away from LA. Yeah, so in the time they spend talking about it, Nevada or Texas or Florida or whoever could swoop in and be like, hey, you know what? You guys sign this paper today. We will let you move production to our state tax-free for the next 5 to 10 years. What do you say? But you got to tell us right now. And they'll freaking do it, guys. I'm telling you, they'll do it. I think these studios are very, very desperate. Union and studio insiders told The Wrap it's highly likely that certain types of productions are not currently eligible for tax incentives, but have seen significant drops in in-state shooting, such as reality TV. They will be included, but nothing is guaranteed until all stakeholders have had their say. So he made the announcement, he made the promise, but it could take a while, right? So that survive until 25, that might be like survive until 27. What's so important about Newsom's announcement is that it sends a message that protecting the industry that is rooted in California is going to be a top priority for him next year. This is Anthony Portantino. Is that how you pronounce this? I don't know who this guy is. The last time we discussed the tax credit program and the budget, there were a lot of ups and downs because not everybody in Sacramento sees the entertainment industry as this historic, important jobs creator and part of the folklore of California. So for Southern California, for Hollywood thinking they're that important, right, to the state, like we are the epicenter of California. That's probably a poor choice of words given where LA is located, but you know what I'm saying, right? Sacramento's like, maybe. We'll see. I know there was talk, and there's been talk off and on for many, many years about that Northern and Southern California just kind of splitting because they are two very, very different places. State lawmakers will also wrestle with whether to make above-the-line spending salaries of filmmakers, actors, and other top talent eligible toward the tax credit. Other major production hubs like Georgia and the UK have made such payments eligible and have offered further credits if visual effects and other post-production work is done in their state or country. Now, here's the thing. $750 million in the grand scheme of things for movies is not a lot of money. I mean, it really isn't a lot of money, right? I mean, Disney spends $200-300 million on one movie. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how far that's going to go, even if they do it. They said that's one reason studios have flocked there to film it in the UK for their most expensive tentpole movies such as Star Wars and Marvel. And I think Lucas actually filmed the prequels. I want to say it was Australia. I think he did them in Australia. What's clear is that Newsom has heard the cry from Hollywood. Hollywood's cries are music to my ears. The governor was moved to take action ahead of the usual January release of his proposed budget after recent reports outlined the slow return of productions to California since last year's double strike ended. If only somebody could have told you what was gonna fucking happen. If only somebody speculated that this would probably happen, that you can't just like shut Hollywood off and then turn it back on, especially when they have other options, right? I mean, it's not just the location, but it's also the AI. It's also non-union workers. I mean, Hollywood's really not in a good place. We're gonna talk more about this, but yeah, they said that Film LA's most recent report showed that the number of shoot days recorded in LA County in Q3 2024 had fallen 5% below last year's strike-saddled production levels and 36% below the 5-year average. And that would include the entirety of the pandemic, right? And they weren't really shooting much during the pandemic. So that's pretty bad. I mean, basically, the studios decided, I think, that they weren't going to spend money anymore. They're like, we can't afford to spend ridiculous amounts of money on shit that nobody's going to watch. So that brings us to this, right? So not only do we have all these productions shutting down, not only do we have them moving a lot of production out of state, not only do we have Netflix buying more and more foreign entertainment or, just licensing somebody else's stuff. Digital Circus, right? On YouTube, they did it themselves and they got Netflix to pick it up, but they were self-funded, self-financed. They did not co-finance or whatever, do a co-production with Netflix. And that's probably what the future is going to look like for a lot of people. I think Netflix is basically going to be a more primo version of YouTube for film quality stuff. I think people are going to get their stuff on Netflix that way. I don't think Netflix really has to co-finance everything because people are dying to get their content on Netflix. So they're gonna spend all the money themselves. They're gonna find the money themselves, and then they'll just say, "Hey, Netflix, do you want this show?" And they'll say, "Sure, we'll split the money with you or whatever." And that's gonna be the new Hollywood. And you're gonna have people. I mean, the great thing about that, and this is a side tangent. I've talked about this before, especially when it comes to animation, is that we are no longer beholden to having to work in that system, that LA system. There's so many talented people out there. I'm talking, animators and live action filmmakers, and they don't get a chance because they won't just pack up and move to California. But who the fuck would want to move to California these days? Who can afford to move to California these days? So, you've got somebody in Iowa that has a fantastic idea and can somehow get the money together, whatever. And they can put a decent film or a decent series together, and they can actually have it run on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something. You don't have to live in Hollywood anymore. So things are definitely changing. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. This was, this morning. The big squeeze, why everyone in Hollywood feels stuck. The promotions aren't happening. Forget that raise, and your boomer boss isn't vacating that corner office anytime soon. Inside Hollywood's great malaise. The money's running out. And I'm going to tell you, it's not just that. It's not just that. They are taking a good hard look at everything they've done over the last 5 to 10 years. And they're going to be like, let's not do that again because we're losing lots and lots of money. And I think a big part of that is they're not going to promote some 23-year-old know-nothing, fresh out of school. We're not going to promote the intern to the head of whatever department. We're not going to let them green light movies. They're not going to be anybody's boss. They're going to fetch coffee until they learn the ropes. And that's how it used to be. Most businesses, that's how it was. You earned the right to be the boss. You weren't just handed that position right out of college. And all these kids today, these kids, get off my fucking lawn. No, but they do. There is a definite attitude. Well, I have a degree in blah, blah, blah gender studies from blah, blah university, and I should be in charge. It's like, no, fuck you. Get in line. Get in line behind all the other people that pay their dues. And this is what I love, too, being of a certain age, being in my 40s, right, is that for a while, it wasn't cool to be over 30. It wasn't cool. You weren't allowed to work in tech if you were 30, 35. You were geriatric if you were 30 or 35. And now these companies are starting to realize that, oh my God, we need experienced, emotionally mature, mentally mature people to actually call the shots and be the ones who decide where the money gets spent. Imagine that. They basically said that nobody is leaving. They're not leaving. They're talking about, Bob Iger being 73. They're talking about Ari Emanuel, 63, has been running WME. That's the William Morris, I think it's William Morris agency for 30 years. Jeremy Zimmer has been running UTA for more than 30 years, 66 years old. Michael DeLuca is a relative spring chicken at 59. That's the problem. They said at least it's a problem for a new generation of ambitious show business strivers under 50 who find themselves unhappily stuck on the middle rungs of Hollywood's corporate ladder. Unlike their bosses, some of whom ascended to the heights of authority in their 30s and even their late 20s, young professionals today who are toiling in an industry plagued with title deflation and ever-diminishing paydays see no clear path to the top. Not one that isn't blocked by an all-powerful boomer who's been perched in a corner office since the Bush administration, the first one. These people have been making movies since the 90s, notes one 50-something former head of production. That's a long time to have a position of authority and to be the gatekeeper of cultural decisions. No, I'll tell you what this is what I think happened. Okay, this is just talking to people, and this is me again looking, outside looking in. I think they listen to younger people. And this is where we fucking are right now, right? They listen to younger people. They called the shots. They're the ones who decided that they were going to court the modern audience, and they were going to chase the Zoomers, and they were going to do that, whatever. They were going to be the ones whose marketing plans included telling fans of existing franchises to go fuck themselves, gleefully, right? I mean, they're putting people in charge of animated series like fresh out of college, like 22, 23 years old. Back in the day, you had to work your way through the ranks. And I think what's going on is a lot of these boomers listen to these younger people. They led them astray. Those people got gone, and they're in no hurry to listen to anybody under 30 or even 40 anytime soon. Because they're like, we need fucking adults in charge, not That's the adult film business. That's a whole, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we need people in charge who know what the hell they're actually doing. And if the ball had not been dropped so many times, it probably would be different. They probably would be giving 20 somethings, 30 somethings a chance. But again, every time they put somebody in charge of a show and they're young and they run at the fucking mouth on social media and it destroys the show and it costs the studio millions of dollars, yeah, I would be hesitant too. I'm to the point now where I'm like, God, if I hire anybody for any kind of position that has any kind of responsibility, you need to be over 30 years old, because I got to know that you're an adult, right? And that is incredibly hypocritical of me, because I was running newspapers by the time I was 25, 26 years old. But that was a different time. That was a totally different time. They said a lot of bosses are there for good reasons. They're talking about all the Oscar nominations, people building empires from the ground up. It's not fair. There's a mounting resentment among young or younger Hollywood, speaking mostly off the record with studio executives, producers, agents, assistants, dozens of entertainment industry professionals ranging from their 20s to their 60s. There's a wide consensus that the kids, oh my God, the kids aren't all right. Many younger execs feel they're spinning their wheels, going nowhere, and not even particularly fast, with increasing numbers abandoning Hollywood altogether and decamping for careers in other trades like data analytics. So, what was it that Bandai was doing, that Namco was doing in Japan? Like, they knew they were going to lay people off, so they basically put them in a room and gave them busy work until they quit on their own. I think that's kind of going on. And it's not just Hollywood. I think it's other industries. I think it's gaming. I think it's tech, where if they know they can't get rid of them, there's no place for you to go. And so, when I worked in the corporate world, the motto was up or out, which is you either climb up the ladder. If there is no place else for you to climb, then you need to move out of that company or that industry and go find something else. Unless you're totally happy doing the same thing for 30, 35 years. And some people are. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying if you're aggressive and you're an achiever and you always want to be, going up the ladder, and if you're not allowed to go up the ladder, it's up or out. I think they know that some of these people want to go up the ladder. They're not going to let them. So they're just going to let them go out on their own. They're going to be like, oh, we're going to make your job so meaningless and boring and ridiculous that you will quit on your own. Because California, it's really hard to fire people. So this is some really interesting stuff. It's a pretty lengthy article, and they're talking about, Katzenberg being 29. He went to Disney at 31. And speaking of, he actually went to Paramount at 29. We're going to talk about Paramount because this is another thing adding to the woes of Hollywood people. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm telling you, you need to, if you really want to make stuff, right? You really want to make content. Working in Hollywood might not be the way to go. You can do it yourself in a lot of cases. I mean, if you think the studio system is going to work for you, it's not going to. Everything has changed, and that especially for animators, I think, especially for people doing like talk shows or podcasts or anything like that. You do not need the studio system anymore, but not that many people are capable of doing everything themselves, or pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, or finding funding on their own. There are a lot of things people would love. They love the idea of just moving into a warm seat. They love the idea of, just a job is waiting for them, and they're going to just start that job, and they're going to work there for 30, 40 years. They're going to get their watch. They're going to move up the ladder. They're going to get promoted. It doesn't work that way anymore. It doesn't work that way for most people in most industries anymore. It hasn't been that way for a very, very long time. In fact, even when I was winding down my corporate career, it was, some of my peers were like, yeah, you pretty much get, if you're lucky, 5 years in a position. And then it's up or out. Either you move up the ladder or you move out and you go start your own thing. And in my particular field, it was always like you go start your own thing. Cause I was at that point, I was working in like marketing and web development and stuff like that. And I didn't want to be just, working for somebody else, just slogging through code, answering to people 20 years younger than myself. That was kind of weird. I think that was kind of weird, but you're going to have to do it yourself. And a lot of people in Hollywood, unfortunately, they don't have that attitude. The people that have been parked there for 40 years, a lot of them had that attitude. Jeffrey Katzenberg had that attitude. The Hollywood Reporter, Paramount post-production staffers facing layoffs claim the top brass is union busting. Probably. I hate to be, the guy that told you so, but I told you so. 38 members of the company's digital post services department say that they cannot in good conscience remain voiceless in the face of the impending elimination of their unit. They said, deep cuts are coming to Paramount, and it's not good. They said it's moving ahead with a plan to trim $500 million in costs. Staffers of Paramount's Digital Post Services unit delivered a letter on October 28th to the company's EVP. Is there even anybody in charge at Paramount anymore? I don't know what the hell's going on there. They said the forthcoming elimination of their entire department. The 38 employees unionized with the Motion Picture Editors Guild were informed in late September their positions will be terminated, according to the labor group. Calling the move a betrayal, the staffers wrote that on the day they were informed of the layoffs, work orders that were previously going to be fulfilled in-house were being prepared to be sent out to other vendors. Oh my God, guys. It's almost like they're outsourcing Hollywood. And look, I feel bad for these people. I do. But this is the new normal, right? The days of you working for this company for decades, it's over. We were all left collectively feeling blindsided and asking the lingering question, why? Well, there's no fucking money. There's no money. There's no money. They blew themselves up. Paramount blew themselves up chasing streaming, among other things, right? There's no money. They don't have the money to pay you. That's why they're being sold. Guys, nobody promised you, a multi-decade career, and that's every industry. Stop thinking that this is your grandparents' country. It's not anymore. I mean, and again, it breaks my heart, but my grandparents, they went to work there for decades. You could get a job right out of high school and you could park it there until you were 65 and you could retire. You could buy a house at 19, 20 years old, and you can't do that anymore. And you got to be nimble. And a lot of people just aren't cut out for it. I don't know if I'm going to be honest. I don't know if human beings are cut out for the way the world works now. And that's me being very, very blunt. And it's not me, again, I'm not taking delight in people losing their jobs or whatever, but I don't know if we are wired to have to adapt and change and switch train tracks as much as we do now. And I've talked to my wife about this before. I'm like, it just feels like, we were designed to basically have the same basic routine every day. And then you change it up a little bit. You get married, you have kids, but it's still the same kind of a thing. You work your hours, you come home, you have dinner, you go sleep, you get up the next day, kind of rinse and repeat. And that's how I think humans are kind of wired. Because you look at animals in the wild and they kind of basically do the same thing every day. Try to survive, get some food, stay away from predators, whatever, reproduce, poop, animals poop all the time. So do we. And then you just, then you go sleep and get up and rinse and repeat. I don't think we're designed to do this. I don't think we're designed to adapt as fast as society is making us adapt. And it is freaking people out. I think it's breaking people. I really, truly think it's breaking people. I think it's breaking their brains. Some people are just noping out completely because they can't do it. And, I could sit here and be like, oh, you pussies, you should just, go. It's like, yeah, but I don't know. Some people just aren't cut out for it. It is hard. It hurts your head. Yeah, I've been wearing different hats my whole life. I've always had to adapt. And my childhood was kind of tumultuous. So I'm used to change, constant change. But a lot of people aren't. And, you're definitely, this whole, the way everything is right now is definitely throwing a wrench, I think, into a lot of people's psyche. That got dark, didn't it? Anyway, they said, we can only characterize what you've done to us as union busting. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do, guys. And I've said this. I said that's what the SAG-AFTRA, they wanted you to go on strike. They wanted you to go on strike so they could cancel a bunch of shit and then hire a lot fewer of you. And they did to save money. The irony is is it comes right on the heels of the recent industry strikes, which stopped so much work, followed by our own contract ratification, a successful endeavor meant to keep the industry thriving. We cannot in good conscience remain voiceless. You played right into it. Not you, but your union leaders. They wanted to save money. They wanted you to go on strike. They already knew what shows they wanted to cancel. They wanted you to go on strike. The affected staffers work in editorial, sound, color grading, quality control, digital duplication, digital restoration, data management. Again, they're going to outsource it. And they're just talking about how they have to save money. I mean, this company is burning down. Paramount's burning down. Hollywood's burning down. It's all burning down. And look, this is a fantastic opportunity. The meteor just hit Earth. The dinosaurs, the majority of them are going to die. You need to be a rat. You need to be a mammal. You need to be ready to reclaim what's left of the planet, this being the entertainment ecosystem. Because there is opportunity there, but not for the dinosaurs. You're going to have to be faster, better, smarter, think outside the box, and stop expecting Hollywood to give you job security. It's over. That's over, right? Just deal with it, grieve, move on. And figure out what the next step is. I mean, yeah, again, it sounds like I'm being a hard ass, but I've been through this so many times in my life before. I've gotten blindsided with forced career changes. I've been blindsided with layoffs. Again, I've only ever known change, really. And so for me, it's kind of, I guess it's probably, kind of flippant and easy to say, well, just change it. But you're going to have to. If you want to survive, you're going to have to. And when we rant about these things, because we know certain people listen to these shows. We're trying to help you. That's it. We're trying to help you. Just you need to stop looking to Hollywood because it's over. Hollywood's over. You're going to have to fend for yourself. Going to wrap it up, guys. Good luck out there. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We will talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.